Welcome back to the show, everybody. Take a look at these numbers while we run the headlines here. We got Ron Hammond in an update for Congress, and what a week it's going to be. Two key scenarios for settlement in the SEC versus Ripple, and the countdown is on. We got joint scheduling and proposal. We got sealing for summary judgment. Somebody wrote a beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook for exclusive content. Right now, it is $1.066 trillion. Thank you to CoinPeprika for those numbers. And Bitcoin right now, $21,455.24. Ethereum is $1,600 and some change right now. XRP is 34 cents, ladies and gentlemen. Look, if you haven't done it, Masterworks is fine art commoditized for the first time ever. You can do the way the richest people in the world have done. And what a time to do it in, because this is time of uncertainty, ladies and gentlemen. And look at these returns here for this artist alone, Adrian Genny here. 15.4% on similar works that they have. You're talking about some serious returns here, ladies and gentlemen, on their work. You go down the line and you could actually invest based on their appreciation, right? Or compare them to the S&P or the corporate bond market, housing or gold, and see how they fare. I'll tell you this, in times of uncertainty, fine art does extremely well with less loss and a dip in their market of investment than any other market that you could invest in. And that doesn't mean it's a guarantee like anything, but click that link underneath the video to find out how it might be right for you. Whale alert, ladies and gentlemen. Full disclosure, it wasn't me. 165 million XRP transferred from FTX to an unknown wallet. I say to you, on-demand liquidity is well at work here, ladies and gentlemen. I can't prove any of it, but I believe it. This week in Congress from Ron Hammond. And Ron, we are very grateful for all the updates you give us, and what a week it's going to be. Take a listen. Big week in D.C. for crypto policy. Two major hearings with the chairs of the CFTC and the SEC. Likely more reports from the White House executive order. A common theme is taking shape. Congress is becoming proactive instead of reactive. How about that one for a change, ladies and gentlemen? First, we have the Senate Ag Committee hearing on Senator Stabenow and John Boozman's legislation to give the CFTC jurisdiction to regulate digital commodities. While meaningful piece of legislation, questions still remain about the definition, which are always tough, and application to DeFi. And I encourage you to know what is the definition of a digital commodity, because right now, so far, it is understood in an unofficial way that it's Bitcoin and Ethereum alone. In a welcome departure from most hearings, witnesses will include nearly all stakeholders, regulators, industry, think tanks, and academics, each with their own view and presenting to a committee that isn't as in the weeds as the Senate banking counterparts. Worth watching. The other major hearings on the 15th is with the SEC Chair Gensler in front of the Senate banking, and typically oversight hearings, so everything is on the table, including crypto. Since last appearing in front of the committee, the SEC has levied several enforcement actions. Topics likely to be covered include criticism of the SEC's regulation by enforcement approach, the SEC push to have exchanges register, failure to approve a Bitcoin spot ETF, and recent efforts, comments to bring stablecoins and DeFi under SEC purview via rulemaking. This guy's out of control, Gary Gensler. I can't wait for this hearing. We will cover all of this as closely as possible. Speaking of the stablecoins, despite what most of the outlets are reporting, there isn't much of an update on the rumored Maxine Waters and Patrick McHenry stablecoin bill yet. Time is running out, and each day there isn't an agreement. There's a chance this is a 2023 play. Get higher. A few reports from the White House executive order on crypto have been released to the public, most notably on crypto mining, but it is likely more will be released in the coming days. This shouldn't scare folks, though, as many of these studies are just that, studies. But studies are a great way to tee up legislation in the future, whether the results are good or bad. One thing is for sure, 2023 will be important, as much of the busy work in this week is laying out the chess pieces for a pivotal year in crypto legislation regulation. I love hearing that. With all of these events in D.C. occurring, keep in mind we are nearing Election Day, and most members will try to find any opportunity to distinguish themselves from the opposition. This means a lot of political posturing, ladies and gentlemen, as I stray from his words. This means dense policy topics get sidelined for partisan messaging, so this slows down the process, obviously, right? So finally, keep in mind Congress only has a few weeks left to legislate this year. As we see developments with the DCCPA and stablecoin bill, understand these are big bills. Even with bipartisan support, big bills of any kind are hard to move. Healthcare, tax, crypto being cited. Does that mean these bills are meaningless? No, the opposite. Congress is getting close to being proactive on crypto rather than reactive to the regulators. It takes a lot of education from stakeholders, but what was once regulator driven is now moving to Congress decides. This is a moment and a threshold we really truly have been waiting for. Ron, I want you to be so right. And I know everyone else does too. So we will keep up to date to that. And Ron, we appreciate everything you do to keep us informed. And we appreciate Jim too. Jim, we appreciate you. There's so much gratitude going around, and it's all very, very real, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Where would we be without all of these key people to keep us up to date where it's going? I really appreciate them. James K. Filan says here, Ripple defendants, for reasons stated earlier, opposed the SEC's request to seal the identities of the experts in connection with the parties of the Daubert motions, including the parties' reply briefs. New original filings are below. I'm not going to read all of them to you, other than to say that, obviously, Ripple pushes back and says this is not necessary. I think it's summed up best right here from Bill Belisarius here, who says, thanks, James. What a waste of time and resources hiding the identities of 5 experts when we already know 2 of them, and the SEC has not made the necessary particularized demonstration of fact to show sealing their identities is appropriate. We come down here, and what the real issue is that, I mean, seriously, a single person tried to contact a witness to say that the report is flawed. Okay, he actually said very flawed. But really, this issue has been allowed to drag on for almost 3 months? That is very, very frustrating. There's no doubt about of that, for sure. But let's move to this now. District Judge Torres has approved the parties' joint scheduling proposal to govern sealing issues relating to the upcoming summary judgment motions. And we were just talking about the experts and that information being sealed about their identities on the Daubert motions. So this is different now, right? So now we're talking about this with the summary motions and what will be agreed upon to seal in that. So now, with that being said, we know that we need to pay attention to the scheduling updates as of September 12th with the date specific to the motions of summary judgment. If we come into here and look at this again as a reminder, we know we're still waiting on the Hinman emails, obviously. But what we do know is that this is where we're at here, ladies and gentlemen. Motions for summary judgment. We know September 13th, which is today, parties file all materials relating to summary judgment motions temporarily under seal, including briefs and supporting exhibits. By the 15th, parties meet and confer to identify redactions sought by each side to the briefs in support of the summary judgment motions. And on the 19th, we get our turn, ladies and gentlemen. The parties file public redacted versions of the briefs in support of the summary judgment motions, making only those provisional redactions requested by the parties during the meet and confer. So whatever isn't redacted, we're going to get to see. And that is going to be a real moment for us to be able to see more evidence than we have to date. Now, how about 2 scenarios that could unfold, according to John Deaton here, shout out to you, my friend, and what could really bring this case to a settlement? One of them kind of surprised me a bit here. If you take a look, we know that, one of the scenarios is, in fact, the Hinman speech. We have not had a judgment on that, and it could happen at any time. And it could absolutely turn this case on its head, depending how the judge weighs in on that for the however many times this has been now about this damn speech. But the other side of this equation is the part that really interests me here, and that could prompt a settlement if the SEC receives an unfavorable judgment in the library case. There will be no settlement for Deaton unless one or both of these events occur. The SEC brought the lawsuit against Library last March, alleging the decentralized content platform sold millions worth of library credits, LBC tokens, in 2016, in the interest of the public. It says it should have been registered as security. Library lawsuit could conclude XRP versus XRP and Ripple as such. And it says here the SEC could cite the ruling from the library case in the long-standing Ripple's lawsuit if it suits their favor. If it doesn't, it could begin to tear down what the SEC has been trying to do. And obviously, with the William Hammond speech, if that comes from the judge, that it all needs to be brought out and the email draft chain to be exposed, I believe John Deaton's got it right here, no doubt about it. And we can't wait to find out. Now, let's very quickly here take a look at what's going on. XRP ranging for 125 days. We are over 1,700 days from the all-time high of XRP, ladies and gentlemen. XRP has been ranging since the 1st of May, May 2022, till now, 13th of September, almost 125 days. The chart looks ready for a move now. The news will ignite the move, and I believe that is right. I believe this is where the rubber meets the road. The fundamental news with the technical chart information really is the tell-all, right? And here, if we go up, we're looking at resistance at 40 cents. And if we go down, we're looking at 28. Don't be mad at me, but I'm going to say it. I've been in this down market so long that I want to see 28 again. Don't get upset at me. Please don't get upset at me. I'm ready for moon like anybody. But I tell you, if I've learned nothing else as a disciplined investor in this space, is that I buy that dip. And I love buying that dip. And I do realize at some point this case is going to end. And that dip's going to be gone. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. But if you don't know what to do for crypto and tax time, maybe you should talk to Clinton Donnelly, the crypto tax fixer at Donnelly Tax Law. I tell you, he is the foremost authority when it comes to cryptocurrency and taxes. All of it. He is the guy, and he is my guy for all of it, crypto and taxes in general. And I couldn't be happier. And there's a link for him and so much more underneath the videos. Make sure you check all of that out, and I'll catch all of you on the next one.